Hello and welcome along to a season finale from this FM22 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's part 8 today and we are back, surprisingly, given how most of this season's gone, for a European places playoff in the Welsh Premier League. We've got a quarter-final against Bala and depending on how many games we win, we could yet have a semi and a final. So anything up to a triple header today and a season review tagged on the end. But this is going to be a very special episode. But if you're looking forward to it, a remarkable turnaround in the second half of the year. The director of football has done well in January. We've done brilliantly since. And now we've got a chance, albeit an outside one, to get into Europe for next season. So if you're looking forward to it, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. We've got episodes from this series every day at 3:30. But will tomorrow be a transfer special? Or will it be a celebration of European football? We'll wait and find out as we go along. There's also episodes from my One Club Story with Hemel Hempstead every day at 11:30. There's links to the playlist in the eye above, as well as the Twitch channel where we're live with Derby today at 6 PM. But a massive thank you for your support. You've helped keep us in the job by supporting us through the season. And now we've got the reward. It's 6th v 7th in a quarter-final. And the winner, I presume, will go on to play 5th place Bala Town United. It was Cardiff Met Uni who got 3rd in the league. They also won the Welsh Cup. So all of our sums that were wrong in the last episode, we didn't have to worry about to start with. Let's go and get through it though, straight into the first fixture, because we've not played any games off camera. We've not got any transfer news. We've not got any contract news. We've just got a very big game to get involved with. Away to Bala, we're of course massive underdogs. I know we're in great form. I know in the end, we got 9 more points than Bala. But we've been playing 5 of the worst teams in the league. They've been playing professional sides, recent champions and cup winners. So it's going to be a very different test today. Bala have got class players, including Dave Edwards, who we've got to go hard in on when tackling. He is a brilliant former Luton man, a former Welsh international, and he's surely going to be a stern test for us today. So we're going to stick with the same 11. Don't fix what isn't broken. We're going to stick with the same 18. That means our lineup for today is Michael Jones in goal. He's one of those out of contract in the summer, so might be his last game for the club. Bio and Owen the fullbacks, with Lever and Lewis the centre-half duo. Agyemang on the right wing, we already know he's leaving. It's just what he can do before that date. Edges on the left with Vieira and Baker in the middle. And then Roberto and Bickerstaff up front. Bickerstaff, unless his loan gets renewed by the director of football, his last game will be whatever our final one in this competition is too. So a really good side, one that's come back and done so well for us. Not many changes from January, but the one that's made all the difference. And now we've got a chance at Europe. Away to Bala we go, a difficult test. But in truth, I'm just really proud to be here. And here are the lineups. As Bala Town, as well as having Dave Edwards, have got a bit of a league legend in Chris Venables. Paul Rutherford, who was playing for Wrexham in the National League last season. Anthony Kay, well-known name from the English game too. Is a very good team with much bigger names than we've got. And I'm going to guess much bigger budgets too. We're going to tell the lads to carry on their performance. We're going to stretch the arm out and say, go on, give it your best. They're motivated, they're pleased. They've got momentum, if nothing else. They won 5-2 in the last game. And against a very central tactic, our wing plate might be effective. Let's go and find out, shall we? Well, what a bizarre game. Half an hour gone. 2 shots on target for us, no highlights. Bala have yet to hit the target at all. This is a really weird one. We're back now, finally, as Bala are on the ball, around halfway with Evans. Back to Kay, the centre-half, and Mendes. To Evans again. And this is the difference. When they come through the middle, they've got so much quality. Evans gets in. It's a great save, Michael Jones. But the first time, by the looks of it, we've really been exposed today. And that's something we've got to be wary of. It's a corner kick which Rutherford will take. Plenty of class in the middle. Mendes, one of them. Great save from Jones again. It's out for a throw-in. And we just about survive. But all in all, a pretty good first half. Don't know where all the fans are. There's nobody here watching it. And given the level of opposition, I'd probably take that first half, to be honest. We're going to pump the fist, tell them to keep going, say you can get the win you deserve here. It's been a really good 45 minutes from the lads as Rutherford picks the ball up. He gives it to Evans, running through on goal, intercepted, but Venables picks it up again to Sang, to Venables, back to Edwards. Class player finds Rutherford to Evans. Really central, but they're getting through us as Owen wins the tackle. You can see how far the fullbacks have been dragged in. If they have one fullback on the overlap for their side, we could be in trouble as Bickerstaff flicks on the goal kick, headed away, and then cleared as far as Agyemang. He gets down the right wing. Can he produce the magic again? Oh, he nearly does. Roberto a whisker away from getting his head on that cross. Owen gets it again though, down the left to Edge. Plays a 1-2 with him. Can we get that ball in the box? It's back to Vieira, to Edge. His cross is blocked up, but Roberto gets there. Back to Edge. Roberto to Bickerstaff. Oh, the flag goes up. I had a slight inkling. I didn't go the whole hog with the celebration. But what a start to the second half. We're really piling the pressure on. And we're competing with a top 6 side, which bodes ever so well for next year. Of course, the worrying side of that is the best 2 ratings from our team are Agyemang and Jones. One player's out of contract, one's already agreed to leave. And now, Charlie Edge has got injured. Probably been the biggest reason for our second half of the season form is that he's actually stayed fit. But now he's not. Joe Stanton comes on. It's a downgrade. He's a good youngster, Joe Stanton, but he ain't Charlie Edge. He's not got the set-piece delivery. He hasn't got the assists. And Bala are straight up the other end with a free kick. Rutherford will take it by the corner flag. Into the box for Bala. Mendes is up. And just like that, our season disintegrates in the course of a couple of minutes. Let's go and make the changes because we've got a couple to chase the game with. We're going to replace Pavel Vieira, who's had a poor game and on a yellow card. Niall Flint will come on for him. Definitely be his last appearance for the club. And then what else can we do? Bio's had a poor game at right back. So do you know what? I'll bring on Jose Ferreira. Been a key part of this season for us, albeit not hugely successful. But he gets a chance here as Stanton crosses from the left. Kay wins the header. Not quite the same level of delivery from the dead ball. As Agyemang gives it to Lewis, to Ferreira. Wouldn't mind him to turn up with a cross here. Agyemang from deep into Bickerstaff. The keeper comes and claims that well. Still remains 1-0 to Bala, but they've not had an easy game here. You've got to give us that. They go long downfield towards Venables, who loses out in the air. Sang can't get there. Baker clears to Roberto. Little bit deep though. Goes through to Bickerstaff. Just beats the left back to it. Goes for the shot just over. And that's the one thing he's missing in his game. He's not got that pace to get away from a defender. So he feels he has to go early. We've given a real good account of ourselves though. It's been a perfectly even game. We're going to go positive for the last few minutes. Really try and put the pressure on. But I think unfortunately our European dream comes to an end. But it's a miracle come the end of this season that we even managed to have one. Bala Town 1, Cefn Druids 0. A slightly underwhelming finish there. We've got a big season review to look at because these lads really deserve it. And then we'll start to plan for what we'd like to do next summer, bearing in mind our Director of Football's in charge. We'll be back in a moment. We're back for the end of season review. It's been a good year in truth. We were taunted with a sack a couple of times. We got that message to say we're potentially one game away. The first one we actually got battered by Haverfordwest and still managed to keep our job. But the Director of Football in January has turned it around. So let's have a look at what I think has been a pretty successful first season. We've done the best we possibly could. So let's have a look at the signings that came in. This is the work our Director of Football produced for us. A couple of them were here already, don't forget. They were signed before the save started. So Farnsworth, Bio being a couple of them. Ferreira as well is another one. But in truth, the ones that have been signed have been superstars. Bickerstaff on loan from Wrexham got 16 goals. Baker in the second half of the season was probably the catalyst for our turn in form. Nick Roberts looks a really promising young striker. Kane Owen resolved the left-back problem which plagued us at the start of the year. Joe Stanton gave us an impact when we lost Charlie Edge, inevitably due to injury a number of times. I thought Yolani Bayer was familiar. We had him at Bangor City at the start last year. No wonder I recognised the names. Dan Summerfield, I think a little disappointing. Ricky Watts, I had a vendetta against from the start. And then the backup keeper from Barry hasn't made an appearance yet. In terms of the transfers out, Brandon Lockett's the one that annoyed me because he was part of the squad. As it is, he's gone to Colwyn Bay and done brilliantly in the second tier. The rest of them, I was quite happy to see the back of. Particularly Phil Mooney, who of course is your favourite down in the comments. The loans out, a few of them having a decent season, but I don't think there's anyone that's going to be pushing the first team. Max Davidson obviously played a few for us and did okay, but he's nowhere near the quality of Kane Owen. In terms of the season's results, we finished mid-table. We did the job in the end. It looked touch and go for a long time, but we pulled away once we got into that bottom 6 conference championship. We played against the sides around us, and there we showed our superior quality. The signings, the timing of when the split was, it all just worked out. And as we saw towards the end of the season, only 2 defeats after that league split, 7 wins out of 10. It was absolutely fantastic. Just a shame we really didn't have the quality to put a dent in Bala's European run. But it'll be interesting to see how Welsh football does in Europe, bearing in mind the success or lack of in the Builder Nation last year. In the Welsh Cup, we were supposed to reach the quarter-final. We only got to the 4th round. We lost to Pennybont after a 1-1 draw. Not a huge amount you can do about that. And then in the Nathaniel NG League Cup, it was a defeat to TNS, but that was the Phil Mooney special. Came on after 88 minutes and then made an individual error to cost us. So I'd like to do a bit better in one of the cups next year. Maybe go on a little run. Perhaps the Welsh Cup, if we get a lucky draw, is our best chance to Europe. You never know. 2-0 saw the goal of the season at Newtown. It was also the match to remember. Bio scoring a brilliant effort from 25 yards. And then Roberto got the biggest win against Newtown. The side who eventually got relegated. The side who we had the most success against. And that's perhaps a worry for next year. If the sides that come up are better than Newtown and Carnarvon, there's probably 8 of our positive results gone. But perhaps the biggest achievement of this season is that we've managed to keep the finances pretty comfortable. I say that, we haven't done anything to do with it, but the director of football did well. We had a fan day late on in the season at home to Flint Town, got a good 3-0 win, and it upped the attendances by about 20 for the rest of the year after it. We're actually unbeaten in 10 home games, which means we've got a fantastic record in front of our fans. We've been able to keep them coming through the gate, and hopefully some of this stuff will improve as we go along. So director of football could do with something to work with. And then the big question, am I going to agree with the best 11? Who was our right back, Yolani Bio, but he's been put into midfield there. I think it's incredibly harsh that Baker's not in centre midfield and Bio at right back. Because you can see, in terms of the sort of match rating, and the average rating certainly, Ferreira is well below the rest of the team. Michael Jones had a very good season in goal. Doesn't look like he's going to get a new contract. So that could be the one crisis next year if he doesn't get a new deal. And it looks like we need a replacement for Agyemang, who was the 3rd top scorer, the 2nd top assist maker, and a fantastic player for us once he got going. The accolades, who won all of the awards? We got Manager of the Month for February. That was a nice little touch. Charlie Edge, clean sweep of Young Player. That's pushing it at 24. Fans Player of the Season as well. Goal of the season we saw was Bio. Roberto, 1 top goal scorer. Nicked it from Bickerstaff by 1. Charlie Edge, most assists, most player of the match, best average rating. Passes completed was Pavel Vieira. Bit of a strange one to have an award for there. Most overall goals by a player in a season. Roberto is top of that tree. Same in a match. And most assists in a season is Charlie Edge. 13 clean sheets for Michael Jones as well. Shouldn't go unnoticed. And we've also got a youngest player and a youngest goal scorer. Both of them through this season's youth intake. So a brilliant end of season, a brilliant second half of the year in truth. It was a season of 2 halves, to bring back an old cliche and change it slightly. The bad news, Charlie Edge out for 6 weeks. He's going to come back to pre-season, just trying to recover from injury. And Agyemang bids farewell on a defeat. He's going back to Italy. So a shame to go out that way. What we've got to do though is get through and see what our expectations are next year. Whether there's any jobs about that might tempt us away. Because if the club vision's still the same, we would have been expected to be the best of the rest, which is 4th place. However, that's changed to mid-table now, and that's realistic. So well done to the new chairman, Des Williams. We've got to sign players under 23, which our director of football will have to do, and develop players using the club's youth system. I am very happy with that. Well done for being realistic. Squad dynamics update. Managerial support now very good. Team cohesion is pretty improved, and as we've seen with all of our saves so far, that seems to be so much more crucial this year. Club atmosphere's dropped after a defeat, we'd expect that. But if we get through the end of season team meeting, not the bits I normally get to show you here, which is why I'm quite enjoying it. I think we're going to say we want to finish mid-table again. Everyone's happy with that. We're also going to say we're not going to make any promises, and bar this backup keeper who's been a constant problem in the dressing room, we're all pretty happy with that. So he's going to be one that's going to annoy me, but shouldn't have to play many games if we get a new first team keeper in. So director of football, don't let us down now. You did great work in January. Go back it up in the summer. The squad will be back on the 20th of June. We've got to see what we think's going to be here. And we're trying to prepare for what our director of football will do, because obviously tomorrow's episode is going to be a big transfer special. So I need to plan for the summer based on what we've already got here. And then hopefully whatever our director of football brings in or lets go, we'll work around that. So as it stands, there are this many players tied down for next year, which is 10 players who have got a contract. The problem with it is that includes players that were here at the start of the game that I have no interest in having near the squad. namely Farnsworth, Amankwa and Wynne. It also includes Jesse Naylor, who's just come in a youth intake. It's going to make it very hard to put him straight in. And we've also got to bear in mind that there's 4 players up here on non-contract terms. As long as they don't get poached, they're all good enough to be part of this first team squad, and they've proved that this year. However, the big concerns, Agyemang's leaving on the right wing. Michael Jones, the goalkeeper, first choice is going. He's experienced, he's a leader as well. It's not just the quality we're losing there. The 3 loanies are all going back to their clubs. Jake Bickerstaff has scored goals galore for us. We've got to have a replacement for him. And then also just players that filled the bench. The likes of Niall Flint, who could come on in either midfield role. George Harry, the same up front. Even the likes to an extent of Dan Summerfield, who often came off the bench at left back and centre half. There really are going to be a lot of voids in this squad if there isn't a very busy summer with our director of football. So I'm interested to see how that works out. We've also got the added element, of course, of Pavel Vieira being unhappy, some youth players we might want to promote and involve in the first team squad. But all in all, this has been a successful first season. It was an incredibly difficult start, and probably, since FM19 with Hemel, the closest we've come to the sack in our first job. But we've survived it, we've seen it through, and we're now in a pretty good position. So do your best, Ben Williams. Has he had any improvement to his attributes? That is the big question ahead of a busy summer for him. He is Director of Football with no improvement to his stats. 4 for judging ability, 2 for judging potential, and 3 for negotiating. And he is the man who is tasked with giving us a squad to compete next year. Because at the moment, we've only got about half of it left on paper as it stands. But what a finish to the season. This man contributed to the incredible turnaround in the second half. We will be back at 3:30 tomorrow for a transfer special. I'll leave you on the competition screen so you can see how we finished. We want a cup run next year. We want to maybe push for the top 6. But based on the squad we might have, I think 7th might be the limit of our ambitions again. Let's have a quick look at the staffing to see if there's any jobs available we might like. So a couple of jobs still going in India. One going in Finland again, where we applied at the start. Bulgaria as well. But nothing really in non-league in England. So looking at realistic moves for the stage of the career we're at, I think we're at Cefn Druids for the long haul next year. So if you did enjoy this episode, that close fight against Bala in a European Places playoff, and of course a season review, capping off first year, a decent one at Cefn Druids, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you think of our season overall. We've probably got to put it down as a success and a great recovery given the first 5 episodes, haven't we? And do you think we should stick with it? Or do you think we should look for a realistic move if one pops up during the summer? I guess it will partly depend on the director of football, and it is going to be a big transfer special. I'd love you to come and join me for it tomorrow. If you want to make sure you don't miss it, please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. We've got daily episodes from our One Club Story with Hemel Hempstead every day at 11:30, and then this one continues at 3:30 each day. That pattern continuing until the end of next week. Come and join the chat on Twitch as well. We're live at 6 o'clock with Derby from FM22. That's the case today and tomorrow as well. But a massive thank you for watching, for supporting our first season. The numbers have been mind-blowing. Your support has been great. And hopefully we can give you a reward next year. But our director of football has got a large say in that. Will he deliver? Join me tomorrow to find out.